And we have two membership directors that are going to introduce themselves that are going to be speaking throughout the call. But this call is really for you, and the success of these calls is your participation in it. After we introduce ourselves, we're going to throw all of you into smaller breakout groups so that you're going to be able to get to know a handful of people much better, and then come back and share what you brought from those groups. Before we get started with any of this, though, I'm going to introduce you to my colleague, Mackenzie Adams, and she's just going to go over some of the rules of engagement. And she's been doing this for me out of the goodness of her heart, so I can't thank her enough. So, Mackenzie, all yours.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. That's very nice of you, Steve. Thank you. Apologies if you've heard this little talk a few times. We've been on a few of these calls with Steve this week, but we're so happy to see so many of you here. We are up to 79 at this point. That means 80. Perfect. That means there's a lot of room for background noise. So if we mute you, please don't take it personally. It's just because maybe we might be hearing something in the background. We're going to try and keep everybody muted until, of course, we go to the breakout rooms. But if you ever have something that you'd like to contribute, please go ahead to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and hit that little microphone button and unmute yourself if you have something to say. There's a chat icon in the bottom as well. If you have any issues or want to contribute or ask a question, please feel free to use that. I will be monitoring it as well as Steve. Also, we'd love to know who you are. A lot of you have just your name coming up for your video. So if you have webcam enabled on your iPad or your computer, please go ahead and click Start Video so we can see all your faces. And also rename your profile with your first name and the JCC you're coming from. And how you can do that by clicking, if you're on a computer, there's 3 dots and it says more, and actually on an iPad and iPhone as well. So click that button and just choose rename. And if you're not seeing that on the bottom, you can either hover over your Brady Bunch tile, do the same, and just let us know your first name and the JCC you're coming from. And if you are just seeing my face very large on your screen, I strongly encourage you to switch to a gallery view, which will enable a Brady Bunch tile situation. And you'll be able to see all of your colleagues.
Okay.
In a few minutes, Steve mentioned we're going to send you into virtual breakout rooms. And we did have a very important request before this call for membership directors of JCCs without fitness centers. Someone thought it would be helpful for you guys to go into a separate breakout room, and we think it's a great idea. So if you are interested in that, please, as we get started and Steve makes his introductions, use the chat feature and just let me know if you would prefer to be in that breakout room, and we'll make sure that you get there. Thanks, Steve.
And if you have any questions about what Mackenzie just shared, please use the chat room to ask us, and we will get to that. And without further ado, I would like to introduce one of the people that was very responsible for this happening, and that would be Alexis Doctor. Introduce yourself.
Thanks, Steve. I'm Alexis, and I know some of you from having met you before at the conferences. And this is now going into my 16th year of the JCC, being the Director of Membership and Guest Services. And so I was hoping this was going to happen because I know the importance of all of us connecting. I know that a lot of us are in the same position, under the same a bit of stress as far as how do we manage our members. And for us at my JCC, which is Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada, we closed our doors to the members on March the 16th, which was a Monday. And our team went very quickly into a virtual mode, which was quite new for us. If you want to check it out, we created a separate site called onlyatthej.com, and there we offered some ethno-fit classes, which is kind of like a Zumba but more interesting. And if you go there, you actually might be able to check it out and take it if you want. Currently it's free. Then within a couple of days, we were able to introduce our own fitness classes so that our senior population could take some some of the classes that they were used to taking at the JCC, and we were able to do some camp related things and some ECE programs. And then as far as my membership team is concerned, we basically divided and conquered. We're all pretty much working from our homes. And so what my focus was to try and see how we could support our members, whether it was making phone calls, sending some emails, and trying to reach out. So when I spoke to Steve, I really wanted to see how we could be of support to each other as fellow membership directors, and see if we could share in the breakout rooms what's working for us, what kind of challenges we might be coming up with, and how we can support each other in these new, unprecedented, challenging times.
Alexis, thank you very much. I don't see anyone that it does not have a fitness center. So this is your last chance to chime in before we throw you into the groups while I introduce you to Jason Stoll. Jason, tell us about yourself.
Jason Stowell. I'm the Fitness Division Director for Membership and Fitness in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I also work as a JCCA consultant, and some of you, I recognize some of the faces from various Zoom calls and site visits. I've been working in health and wellness for almost 25 years. I started working in membership in 1997, but I only joined the JCC about 8 years ago. So I'm in the first couple of years to adjust to the differences of the nonprofit world, but now I can't imagine being anywhere else. So I just appreciate being able to share and work with all of you.
Thank you very much. So we have 90 people on a call. We're going to throw you into 18 different rooms of 5. I only see 2 people that don't have a fitness center. So I think rather than just have the 2 of you talking to each other, we're going to put you with other colleagues so you get a chance to meet more people than that. Mackenzie, anything else before we throw them in?
It automatically went, so please don't click join just yet. I'm trying to have it stop. Just hang on, bear with me for about a minute. Sorry about that.
And while she's cleaning that up, what we'd like for you to do is introduce yourselves, where you're from, and share 1 or 2 things that have worked for you. Like Alexis was just saying, some wins, some early successes, and then if one of you would be so kind as to just take 1 or 2 of those when we report to us, and we'll try and get all that information together for you.
Still working on it. Bear with me 1 second.
Meanwhile, Jason, why don't you tell 1 of your successes, early successes?
Yeah, we are lucky here in Pittsburgh to have a really talented team. I'm surrounded by professionals that have been doing this for decades. So we were already beginning to innovate towards online engagement. Matter of fact, anyone who's a nerd for this industry like I am, revenue has risen 59% year over year for online fitness offerings. So the world's heading that direction. And although a lot of us innovated out of necessity rapidly, we all will not be going back from here, right? The online offerings and classes are a new reality. And so as we mobilize rapidly to deliver pieces, we also have to understand that these are going to be permanent and we need to improve on them. So I'm going to share a couple of things a little bit later here, but I'm really proud of my staff in Pittsburgh because we've got unbelievable engagement. We went from I think it was less than 200 to 600 in about a week and a half. People sharing pictures and photos and videos of their children. I can't wait to show you all here in a few moments. Which I can do now if Mackenzie still needs some time.
Nope, I think we're all good. Thank you so much, Jason. In a few seconds, you would see a message that's going to pop up. Just click the blue button to join, And Rachel from the Mandel JCC, if you can just hang tight, don't click the join button. We're going to put you in the room with the non-fitness center JCCs. All right, we'll see you guys in a bit.
I cannot.
Alexis and Jason, do not join the room. Stay out here with Mackenzie and I.
Okay.
Mackenzie, nothing popped up for me to join, just so you're aware.
Cool. All right, Rachel, I am going to go ahead and add you in.
Rachel, that's because we're here to let you go.
Oh, that's okay. I'm actually being laid off on Monday, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's a terrible time.
Rachel.
Oh. That joke worked better a year ago. I'm sorry.
It's all good. No worries.
Can't find your name on this list. Huh? Hey, give me one more second. Rachel, did you rename yourself when you came into the meeting?
I did. It was Rachel Stein originally, and then went with the first name and Mandel JCC.
Okay, hold on one second. Maybe it's coming up as the other one. I'm not seeing it here. Ah, here we go. Move to. All right. Did you get a little message now?
No, not yet. Let me see if I click on the breakout rooms. You have no sign. Well, yep, here we go. Thank you.
Great.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Karen, can you hear us?
Yeah, I think I clicked on the later instead of the actual breakout room, so I think I need to.
Oh, no worries. Hold on one second. I'll
Thank you.
put you back in breakout room 5. There you go. Are you getting a message?
Not yet.
Just try that again.
Okay.
How about now?
At the bottom, it says join breakout room. Is that it? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
I'm in.
All right,
Thanks.
we'll see you soon. Thank you.
And can you help that lady from Boston?
Woo,
Hi guys,
stressful. Sorry about that.
you did it.
Oh, good.
And Jason was so smooth during that little
Yeah,
hiatus.
thanks, Jason, that was awesome.
Awesome.
God. Thank God I'm still
Steve, about how much time do you want, just so I can set a little timer here?
10 minutes.
Cool.
I hope I didn't share too much or too little.
Oh, that was great. I told you we'd be 10 minutes into this before we throw them in. And I see Francine.
Over to you.
Okay, so I just wanted to, oh, Steve, do you want to say something first? Nope, you're good. Okay, so for those of you who joined late, my name is Alexis. I'm from Vancouver, Canada Jewish Community Center. And we just did a breakout now, and hopefully the discussion was focused on what was working for your JCC, what's working well. And for those of you who want to ask a question, if you look on the bottom right-hand side, I believe it is, there's a reaction where you can up your hand if you want to ask a question. Is that right, Mackenzie? Not? Yeah? Okay. And also, if you want to ask any questions, you can write something in the chat box, which is off to your right. So hopefully you can see that, and we will answer those questions when the opportunity arises. Steve just asked me to mention about things, something that was successful for our JCC, or what we're currently doing as far as the membership team is concerned. I have my team calling each and every member that they can get to just to say hello, let them know that we're thinking of them, and that we are wishing them well and that we miss seeing them at the J. We are also, we did run membership dues on the 25th, which was a couple of days ago. And when people responded to us, saying that they need to freeze or cancel, we had a relatively standardized letter that we then personalized a response, asking them to consider paying for the first month, and then potentially looking or having a freeze the first month and then freezing following if they needed to, or doing a partial donation or a partial payment for it. So we were giving them options, and then the last option was doing an emergency freeze. I'd say about 98% of them went for the emergency freeze, which is probably what we were not hoping, but we totally understand given the circumstances. So if we can get from the breakout rooms a representative to let us know what kind of things happened at your JCCs, that would be great. What's the best way? Do we want somebody to raise their hand? Mackenzie?
You can either raise your hand, I'll be monitoring that, or feel free to use the chat and we can read them there.
Hi. 1 second, I have to mute my call.
Oh, Timothy, did I see your hand go up?
Hi, Tim from Boston. Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get that far. We only heard from a few people, but I think the one thing that we have done that so far has worked out pretty well, but if we were talking a week from now, it might be different, is we sent out a letter talking about our closure and asking folks if they wanted to continue paying their dues. We would give them a tax letter and treat it as a contribution. We gave them an option to freeze beginning April 1 and then automatically be reinstated on the day we reopened. And the third option was just to cancel. So we've heard from, I've gotten about 400 plus emails, put them on a spreadsheet and on a common drive, which our business department is monitoring and updating our auto draft. So we right now about 14% of our total membership units are either going to freeze or cancel for now. Now you might say that means 85% are still going to pay. Well, they'll be charged, but we'll get a number of people who say, why did you charge me? Oh, in the letter also said, if you do nothing, we'll continue to charge you. We said it nicer than that though. So we'll see what happens. But I thought we would hear from a lot more. I hope I didn't jinx myself. And then we're getting some contributions coming in, people calling and saying what a great community, we want to keep paying. And by the way, here's another check for $5,000 to help support your staff. So in that light, we're moving along, it's busy. Also, the online content is growing, something we were going to do eventually. We all are doing it sooner probably than we had thought, and it's only going to get better as we reopen and move on. So things under the circumstances are moving along, but like everyone else, we'd rather be at work than at home at this point.
Can I share something related? Everyone can hear me?
Yeah, hi, Jason.
Hey, Timothy. So we're all salespeople, right? So we all understand that words matter. So when you're cultivating these letters, I've seen a lot of really great letters go around. Remember that we don't just want to appeal to somebody's altruistic nature to donate their membership dues. Again, I don't want to go on my soapbox, which I do, but all behavior is motivated either through moral, social, or financial motivators. And so you want to try to appeal all three of those. So when you're writing these letters and you're trying to influence a behavior, you want to make sure that this letter is doing all of that. I would caution against saying, if you don't do this, then we're going to do this, where we're going to bill you against your knowledge. You could rephrase it in a way to say, in lieu of reaching out to you, this is the determination we made, and this will be applied as a credit moving forward, some version of that.
I'm sorry, Jason. I think I did state that wrong. It said something more like, I don't have it in front of me. It said something more like, if you wish to continue with your membership, you do not have to respond, something like that. But it wasn't as harsh as I may have said it earlier.
No, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we have a hand raised. Oops.
Barbara from Marin, can you join in?
Yep. Hi, guys. I am not a membership director. My membership director asked me to sit in. I'm an operations manager for the health and fitness department. But I wanted to share sort of what we're doing. We drafted March 15th, got a tremendous amount of backlash from our members. So our CEO and board decided to freeze everyone as of April 1st with a, if you're are able to, click here and unfreeze and to continue to support our staff. We have about 3,000 units. We are up to 350 people that have opted to unfreeze. We need to get that number to about 1,000. So we are now going to start calling members directly. But I am super interested to hear other ideas on how to encourage or get members to unfreeze, to support, to keep staff as whole as possible.
Does anybody else from any of the breakout rooms want to contribute to what was working for their Jays?
Barbara, can you just tell me what JCC you're from? I missed it.
Osher Marin JCC. We're just north of San Francisco.
Thank you.
Timothy, with the, I have a question actually, with the.
Timothy, my mother, nobody calls me Timothy. My mother used
Sorry,
to call
Tim.
me that. I'm sorry.
With the people who are doing the contributions, was there a specific ask for it?
No, we basically just said, you know, we want to keep our staff on as long as possible. We want to provide you, and we gave them the links to the online content in the group fit. I think what happened was in our men's health center, the premium locker room, about 120 guys. A lot of those guys, it's a real home, as most of you know, if you have the upgraded locker rooms, and a lot of those guys do contribute very often. So that's really where the contributions are coming from. They pay a premium on top of their memberships, but we didn't specifically. What they did was they had a stabilization fund that they did say, we're starting this now. So anybody, here's the link to it. So there was a mention, I'm sorry, there was a mention to this stabilization fund.
Mm-hmm.
Now I did get a call from one of the guys who said, I want to give you this money, but it's got to go to this. Like, you can't get rid of this department or this teacher or this person. And you know how tough that is when people have strings on their money.
Okay, thank you. Are any of the JCC membership directors reaching out to their membership via Zoom to try and do face-to-face with the members?
We have several different Zoom meetings and drop-ins, so not just the fitness, but also our early childhood programs are doing it. We have been doing personal phone calls to our members, but effective April 1, I no longer have team members to do that. So the leadership team is looking at the concept of setting up like a coffee talk drop-in where one of us will be on a call at different times throughout the week for members to just come on and chat and touch base and see each other.
Okay.
Yeah, Alexis, this is Rebecca at the 11 JCC in Durham. I mean, in addition to everything that Monica mentioned, like the Group X classes and kids stuff online, and this is also the midst of our Jewish Book Festival, which we moved from in-person to Zoom, and that's also had good attendance. I hosted a water break on Zoom, which was like just like a casual like virtual atrium, and it was in our weekly newsletter and in our Facebook groups, which is where we've been doing most of our online content. And there were a few people that came in, but I thought that like I just wanted to do something that would build community and like keep people connected. I might try it again with more of a theme, but I sort of wanted to provide that casual gathering spot.
That's a great idea. How many people participated in that first coffee break?
Oh, there were 4, but it was still a nice chat.
Nice.
I was going to say I had a question. So we've been reaching out. We started with our 60 plus members, age-wise, 60 plus members reaching out, and I divided it with our my membership team, and we've had great response. People are thrilled that we're calling and actually connecting with them. The question I had to all of you is and we sent out a letter saying we're not charging for April. Our development team, obviously we all need the money. And now our development team kind of wants to take over the calls and ask for donations from, you know, not from our group that we just called, but from everybody else. You know, me personally, you know, I feel a little awkward now because we just said we're not charging for April, but now they're going to be calling people asking for donations. Has anybody had this experience? Or that just makes me feel awkward because, you know, my phone calls are genuine. I want to find out what our members are doing and how they're doing. I feel awkward now having to ask them, oh, by the way, do you want to give us your membership? And just to kind of let you guys know from our marketing perspective, out of all of our members, only 30%, I believe it is 30%, has opened their email. So that's part of an issue as well for us.
I think what it really needs to be is a one message saying, here's where we stand, this is what we want to do for you, and this is how you can help us come out on the other side. So if you've already started having that conversation with them, I think it's probably better you are the one continuing that conversation, but that's just my take. But asking, it doesn't hurt, and asking should happen. I was hesitant on it. We sent out our email at 1 o'clock yesterday, and by 4 o'clock, I had 85 of our members say, please keep charging me until you reopen.
Yeah, that's the ideal. I also think that, Michelle, it doesn't hurt to make more than one phone call. I think that, and maybe even from different people. I think that people are, in order to make them feel a little less isolated and to let them realize that we're thinking of them, and even if you're making an ask, they can say yes or they can say no. I think that it makes them, I think talking to them more than once at a time is not a bad thing, and maybe even by different people. How are we doing for time, Steve or Mackenzie?
Jason is going to just take a couple of minutes and share what they're doing in Pittsburgh, and honestly what's going on in some other sites as well. And we're going to come back to you and put you back into a group one more time. I got a request to put you into a group with more people so that there's a better chance for interaction, and we'll be glad to do that. So Jason, if you can just take a couple minutes, it's all yours.
Yeah, so in the interest of time, I'm going to kind of truncate the two things I had here. So the first is how to get your whole staff engaged around the agency and to support them and message this. The second one's going to be about how we can look for the opportunities in today's climate. So I'm going to do a screen share here real quick. Let me, please tell me if somebody shout, they can see this. Everyone see my screen here?
Yep.
Yes.
Jason.
All right, so as we talked about, we all rushed to innovate out of necessity. Some of us were already here, but most of us were not. And so when we closed down, we wanted to make sure we were still able to create connection and community virtually. So most of us moved to Facebook or to Instagram or to their webpage, which was great and something we had to do. But again, this isn't going away after this quarantine elapses. So we need to, with our time now, improve and engage our members the way they want. Now remember, just because they're digesting our information differently doesn't mean that their expectations have lowered. You know, everyone expects it to be as easy as Amazon, right? So I have 4 basic recommendations I'd like for everybody to consider, and I recommend them in this order. The very first thing is you should make sure you have a singular landing page for your agency, right? So this is Pittsburgh's. You can see it's our JCC Pittsburgh Virtual Expand Beyond Our Walls. We have our little piece, but then when you go down here, right, we have our live offerings. You want to tune in live. We have a catalog of interesting classes that you can take before, personal training tips. And then going outside of, you know, we're much bigger than fitness, right? So we've got our second floor teens. We've got our live events there. We've got our Emmerich Hoffman camp, right? Age wall, incredibly important. Dance. We have a little Tiny Tots dance class video going on here, well, right? And then this Center Loving Kindness is doing these 5-minute comforting conversation calls, right? So it's all housed on this singular page. So number 1 is have a singular page. The number 2 tip I'm going to give you is you need to expand your digital footprint now by expanding on what you have with social media. Most of us have Facebook, but now that we're quarantined and we can only, for the most part, connect virtually, we need to meet our members where they are at now. And that will be Instagram. That's going to be Pinterest. That's going to be putting your stuff on YouTube. That's going to be Twitter, right? So if you do not have accounts for in your JCC's name, I highly recommend you get those now and you start leveraging them, right? Because this is where your members are. They're not all just going to come to your Facebook page. Third tip, get all the directors in your agency that are still generating content and get them pushing stuff, quality stuff out quickly. You should be engaging 3 to 5 to 10 times a day with content from across the entire agency. It shouldn't just be a fitness class, 2 or 3 fitness classes, right? The comforting conversations, that's been fantastic. Mindful meditation in the morning. Wake up every morning at 6 a.m., right? Highly recommend it. Social media, right? So again, this is our Facebook page here, and Jen's on the call, so everyone say hi, Jen. John. But then even better, we've got members putting pictures and comments of them. These are members doing this awesome stuff, right? Again, we see the numbers here. We were just under 600 last time I checked, and to be honest with you, my screen's half blocked. So this is great stuff, right? So start pushing it all out your social media content. And the last piece I'm going to give you is create a singular hashtag, right? So ours is JCCPGH Virtual. The reason you want a singular hashtag is because your website, your social media has tons and tons of content. Right now, you have an initiative to let people know that they can engage with you, and they need to engage with you on this singular initiative of meet us virtually. So create a hashtag that will be searchable, and no matter where you're at, whether it's Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, they'll search you on this hashtag, one singular hashtag, right? So quick recap, have one singular landing page that houses your content. Make sure you expand your digital footprint, get on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all the things. Work with your directors across the agency. Don't just be putting out fitness content, be putting out teen, be putting out mental health, be putting out age well, be putting out camp. And lastly is create a singular hashtag. All right, the last thing I'm going to tell you, there are opportunities out there right now. We are all talking and struggling with the fact that members are trying to cancel and freeze. Your competitors are dealing with the exact same thing. When this clears, our members, the loyal ones, are going to come back to us, but a lot of people are going to take this opportunity now to look at what are the other offerings. The JCCs are primed to help people with the new wellness spectrum that's coming out, right? It used to be just do the thing on the treadmill and get your piece, right? Or go to the lunch program. But now people want connection, they want community, they want mindfulness, right? Now's our chance to win interest. Let me tell you one awesome way to do that. Eventbrite. Eventbrite offers online events that people can attend for free or paid, but I recommend free. So here's what I do. You might have 2 to 10 live events a day. I recommend putting up only one, maybe once every 2 or 3 days to make it a special event. Post it out there, whatever your best piece of that day is, and invite people to come check it out, right? People are looking for things to do right now. There's a small studio in California. It's not JCC, so I'm not going to give the name. They only had 100 members. They have 300 people attend their online Eventbrite piece. There's a guy, I forget his exact name, but he's in the UK. He started yesterday. He has 800,000 teens. 800,000 teens from across the world coming to his online event. So I looked here, right? I started searching just a heck of it. How about this? St. Louis's JCC actually already has one, a virtual event. This family Seder. I don't know if anyone's from St. Louis is on the call here, but somebody's already doing that. So I think it's fantastic. Highly recommend you get there. That's all I got, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jason, thank you very much. We are going to throw you into a little bit larger groups this time. And what we want to share, what we want you to share with each other is how are you supporting your department colleagues? And this is going to be a very tough week. This last week already was. Going forward, it's going to be even tougher. We just want to share, are you doing it? What are you doing for each other? And at that point, Mackenzie, please send them to the rooms. We'll bring you back in about 7 or 8 minutes and we'll wrap it up.
If somebody wants to put up their hand and share what they plan on doing or what they're going to do, please do.
So I just had an idea. Julia Bright Moran sort of got me started along this line of thinking. This is Rebecca. But I think at the end of our senior staff meeting next week, I think we should do a one-song dance party. That's my plan.
Somebody else raise their hand, please chime in.
It's Sharon from the J in Buffalo. So I have a text chat with all of my staff. I have 9 staff at my location in the suburbs, and I have another probably 5 staff at my location in the city. Rob, my assistant director, is reaching out to his staff in the city, and I have a group text with all of my staff at the suburban location. And we've been in touch almost on a daily or every other day basis, just checking in, seeing how they're doing, just so I stay connected with them and they know that I care about them. Unfortunately, I got layoff notices earlier today. So I'm going to be reaching back out to them to make, let them know that I care, and they're hoping this is just temporary and that we'll all be back together soon. So it's tough.
Can I ask how those
Hold on a second, Tim. I've got a raised hand. Clara, go ahead.
So we're doing a couple of things. Our early childhood director is doing a weekly check-in, just a quick check-in on the Zoom on Fridays with all of the ECC staff. We've moved our weekly staff meetings online, so our weekly staff meeting is now really also partly a check-in. And we have encouraged people that if they happen to put something besides orange juice in their glasses, they're not bringing it to the building, so it's okay.
Thank you very much. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. It is 3 o'clock, and I am glad to stay on this longer. But before you leave, I just want you to let you know what's the next steps are. We're going to follow up with a recap of the call, and we're going to include a survey in it to ask you some of the questions that we saw in the chat room. We're trying to find a definitive answer from Tivity and Silver Sneakers, and we're going to put some stuff out there. If there's something you would specifically like to ask of this group that didn't get asked during the proceedings, please send Alexis an email, and we'll include it in the survey. Rest of these calls is your decision, and you were we will accordingly. This is a different group that I've been facilitating, and it's probably the most active in terms of participation, which is wonderful. So we're looking to you for content. And now, like I said, anyone that needs to go, we understand. It was great. Shabbat Shalom. It's going to be a very tough weekend. Please take some time for yourself and just rest. And reach out to your friends and colleagues and family now. Anybody that would like to stay on the call, you're welcome to. And I see, is there any other hands raised?
It's Sharon from Buffalo again. I don't mean to interrupt.
No.
We had a call with Tivity just at 11 o'clock this morning.
Please.
And what my person told us was that we can submit for virtual visits. We have to document who is participating in the class, and we have to know who facilitated the class, how long the class was, what time the class occurred, and then we will be able to submit for payment. They are not guaranteeing payment. The other thing is, they said we can reach out to members, phone calls, and as long as there is a 10-minute movement component, whether you're taking a walk, you're suggesting stretching, whatever, we can bill for that as well. So that was our conversation this morning.
Sharon, that's terrific. Can you write that up and share it with us?
Absolutely. Do you want me to send it off to you? You want me to send it off to the listserv?
Listserv is fine.
Perfect. Okay, I'll do that this afternoon.
Sharon, real quick, was that Silver Sneakers or was that Active Renew?
That was Silver Sneakers.
Thank you.
Okay, they just said that you need to keep your history. Keep, copies of who participated, when the class was, who the teacher was, in case we get audited, that we actually have proof and we're not just pulling numbers out of the air. So now we're trying to figure out how to manage that.
Very helpful. Anyone else before we wrap this up? And if not, I want to thank Alexis and Jason very much. And then a special thanks to Mackenzie, who's already off on another call. Everyone.
Thank you for this. This was great. I'd love to do another one.
Thank you for putting together, yeah.
Well, you can pretty much save this time going forward. And one of the survey questions, like I mentioned, is that Alexis and I are going to look to create smaller groups. Like maybe it's the JCC, maybe it's by country, maybe it's by region, maybe it's by size of JCC. We'll see what the interest and the demand is, and let's get through this weekend and let's get into next week, and we'll figure out what the next steps are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Shabbat
Thank
Shalom.
you so much.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.